Chris Landry, one more segment on a Monday. Go to LandryFootball.com, also on X at LandryFootball. Chris, before we kind of peek at the Super Bowl, and of course we'll talk about that next week in detail, but the Lions and Ravens just way too early. Looking at those teams, of course, a lot's got to happen with the draft. We'll see what happens with free agency. Are they going anywhere? Do you anticipate maybe a step back? Just kind of a 10,000-foot quick flyer over both of those organizations.
I thought it was interesting what Dan Campbell said last night, and it shocked me when he said it because you don't hear coaches say this, but it's what I think of all the time. I've been blessed in my career to been to several Super Bowls and be on the winning end, being on the losing end, and I've been in the conference championship games. And I tell people that it is the toughest loss that you can have. You know, losing the Super Bowl is really tough because you get that close to winning it all and you don't get it done. But there's something, Jake, about making it to the Super Bowl. It's kind of like making it to the Final Four. It's an accomplishment in and of itself. When you lose the conference championship game, it sucks. It is awful. It is, in fact, it is one of the things that got me out of the business and into consulting because ulcers and health problems, I didn't handle it well at all. And Dan Campbell said last night, everybody thinks, well, they made this jump in Detroit, and look out, I don't know. He's built a good culture. We'll see if Ben Johnson takes the Washington job. If he's the guy, we'll know here in probably 24 or 48 hours. Who leaves? It's not going to be the same team. The division is getting tougher. Green Bay's really getting better and young. Chicago's getting better. Minnesota will have to make some. This may have been their best chance. Up, that much. I don't know that they're going to get back. It's just you remember it when it used to be. At least I remember when it used to be where, in their 70s, 80s, before the advent of free agency, you could pick at the end of the season who was going to be the two or three best teams in next year because you know who they were going to bring back, and you don't necessarily know who they were going to add, but the young guys would only be depth pieces. Now it's a crapshoot. I know Kansas City's good every year and going to be good, but I don't know that I can say the same for Detroit. I don't know if they're even a playoff team next year. I think they probably will be, but it's going to be difficult. Baltimore, they've got to figure out how to take that next step. They've got some of the same issues as well. They probably got a better overall roster than Detroit, but that's what I feel bad. I sit here, I'm excited for Kansas City and San Francisco, don't get me wrong, but I'm going to tell you, I suffered more in losses like this than I ever enjoyed the wins. I know that's sad, pathetic, but I am feeling really bad for those, and I do every year, for the teams that lose because it may never be as good as it was this year. And you've got to fight that, and you've got to fight that in your building to make sure that you don't allow it to get that way because you're going to have to add some new pieces, maybe some new coaches, and, because some of them are going to leave. I think it's going to be quite the challenge for both of them, particularly Detroit, who they've got to figure out, hey, look, this is something that they're going to build on. Now the expectation is, hey, you're not going to sneak up on anybody. You're going to be expected to win, and that's a different position that they've been in obviously in decades.